So I had just gotten divorced, and it became a very challenging marriage at the time. And I realized that a lot of I was starting to realize that a lot of the challenges I was having were because I was, allowing myself to be treated in ways that were not fitting to me. So my goal was I wanted to go into a new relationship and really make sure that I was setting myself up for success. And I'd also had experiences with men where like I felt like they would heavily pursue me, but then they weren't actually interested in me. So I was like, okay, how could I get more of like my personality and my nuances like out front faster so that I didn't fall for them because of the pursuit and then realize that they're not really quality.
Yeah. Sounds like everybody's experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what I want to hear about now are kind of like what happened during the course of coaching together. So that can be like breakthroughs that you had, aha moments, things that you learned, just things that changed for you both internally, externally.
Yeah, like I think like where I was is like I knew I had a lot of awareness as to what my issues were, but I really needed to like work on them more, and I really needed like tactics coaching. So like, I knew that there was like, some self-worth stuff happening. But like the weekly sessions of like just working on that in a really concentrated way was super beneficial. And then I also like, I've been out of the dating scene for like 10 years. So like just having you weekly to be like, hey, this is happening. Is this normal? Should I push back? Should I not? Like that was super, super valuable to me.
Yeah, yeah. And then what kinds of results did you see?
Well, it's funny. I signed up with you, and then within like a week or two, I started dating a guy. And so the entire duration, I was dating him, and I'm still dating him. So, yeah, and he's a very good fit for me. I love that you work a lot with like the feminine, and I'm definitely more on the masculine energy side for women. So, for all those ladies who are like, you can work for both. This coaching is good for both. So, yeah, and it was like, I really found that like I needed someone that was okay with me being a bit more naturally in my masculine, which is what I am. And yeah, and then since then, so kind of sussed it out while I was in coaching that is this a good fit? And he definitely is. We've been together like 8 months now.
Really? Oh, yay. That's getting so close to a year.
Still with Calvin. It's Calvin. Yeah. So yeah, so that's another reason why I wanted to do this for you too, is because like it totally is like another great success story. And like I love, like I'm all about the marketing, so like so happy to do this.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, awesome. So you met a great guy. What changed internally, like inside?
Yeah, inside I think was like I'd been doing a lot of self-talk of like I'm okay the way I am, right? Like I'm okay the way I am. Like it's okay that like I'm a bold personality. It's okay that like I am more assertive, more commanding than a lot of women. But, based on like traditional masculine feminine, I didn't quite fit that. And so I was repeating to myself that it was okay, but it was with coaching that I like started to live it more, right? And then not let myself have those experiences with men where like they're just pursuing because of looks or initial perceptions, but like I'm going to take a bit more of the masculine in relationships, right? So and like yeah, understanding that like owning that about myself earlier on so that I could like weed out the ones who weren't okay with that.
Yeah, because I feel like one of the things that you said to me at some point was like men would come on strong because you appear to be like some certain type of woman, but then they would
Yeah.
realize like, oh, she's not whatever they had in their head. And so it was really frustrating because you'd be like, I'm not attracting men who really appreciate who I am.
Yeah, and like and I know I loved working with you too because like I know you usually work with like women who are kind of in the opposite of me, where like a lot of the masculine behaviors that they demonstrate are, because they've got a lot of inner work to do. Me, it was like, no, this is just literally the way I am,
Yeah.
but I need to learn how to own it, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. And that was important, right? Like this is actually ultimately about like being who we really are.
yeah, absolutely.
You
And like,
know?
yeah, like I love all your Instagram content and stuff too, because it's like, and like then when I see like people being all like, oh, like, when people get, super feministy or whatnot, and I'm like, but this stuff is so feministy. Like,
It
I'm like, if
is.
someone like me is working with you, right?
Right. You're good evidence of that.
Because it's like, no, it's just, it's important to just be who we are. And like, and if that's extremely in your feminine energy, then fantastic. But like, it's still difficult for women that are slightly in their masculine in a healthy, natural way, because like, yeah, it's then like men don't know what to do with you.
Yeah, or some men don't.
Some men don't. Yes, some don't. Some are like cool.
Yeah. Um,
So super fun.
yeah, yeah. So the other thing I wanted to ask, because I know you've been in therapy, you've done other types of personal development, and this is a question I get asked a lot, is like, what is different about what you do, or like what I could expect with you versus like therapy? Because I've done therapy.
Yeah. So this is like, I don't know, because like, yeah, and I've done something similar to this with another therapist. And like, I think the easiest way to describe it in like layman's terms is it's like getting out of your head a little bit and getting out of that like computational mode and that left brain, and like understanding that like we store trauma in our bodies, and like, and the way that that feels and the way that that enacts itself is not always logical, and getting comfortable with that. And then once you're comfortable with it, learning how to kind of undo it, but in like a way that isn't talk therapy, right? Because that doesn't just work. Like it's much more about like the feelings, which can seem kind of wishy-washy and not real, but those things are real because they govern your actions.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was trying to thinking about it. I was like, how do you like? Because I thought about this before. I was like, how do you explain this to people who like, haven't? And like, I could see also people being like, when you're first doing it with them being like having some hesitation. Just like, what are we doing? Like, don't worry about it. Like, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be asked, like, am I just making this up? Like, does this matter? Like, even if you were making it up, that's like in your subconscious, so it's still impacting you.
Exactly. And like, I think that's what some people can miss too when they're super in like the cerebral space, is like, even if you're making it up, it doesn't matter. It's the story that you tell yourself, which therefore it's real.
Yeah. 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 Awesome. Well, my last question would be, so, there are women who are kind of like trying to figure out, is this for me? Is this not for me? Should I do this? Should I not? Like they're on the fence. Like, what would you say to someone who is considering?
Um, I'd say like if you are in a place through in your life where, like you financially you can manage it, you have the time to give it a go, you have absolutely nothing to lose, right? Like why not? Like if you're frustrated in dating and in your personal life, or like me, like, came out of a not so great one and wanted to start again, like, and you can financially and time wise do it, like there's absolutely nothing to lose. You'll just feel a little bit more calm. So why not?
Is there a particular woman that you would say this would be really great for you?
I think honestly, any woman who is like just feeling unsure in their dating life. Like if you're having a blast and you're having fun and you're loving the way everything's going, whether that's, dating a lot of people or like committing, then like obviously you're set. But like if you're frustrated in any way, shape, or form, you probably don't even know why you're frustrated. You don't even know like what the root causes are. And so you need to understand those before you can even work with them. And like, yeah, like we're not taught how to date. We're taught all these other things, but like we're not taught how to just be in those environments. And they like, and I think trial and error is like, if you're, later in your life, like trial and error, you're not setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, yeah. And like you're a great example of this because you're like super successful. Like you're really great in all these areas of your life. And I feel like that can be frustrating for women who are super go-getters. They are successful. They have so much figured out to be like, to just admit that like I think I might need help here.
Yeah.
Like it's okay
Yeah.
to have everything else set and not be getting this area because it actually is so different than, how we are successful in other places.
Very different. And it's like, yeah. And like, I love your work around too of like just really stepping into what you actually want, because like, yeah, there's so many women who I don't think they really understand what they want and what actually makes them happy. So like learning that first, and
Yeah.
then going like, okay, well now what does that mean for like the kind of life partner that would make me happy and fulfill me?
Yeah. Yeah. Because we always start with who you are and what you want.
Yeah, and then that sets you up for success with like, yeah, and like, yeah, not just having, because we talked about this too, not just like dating guys because they pursue you, because that doesn't mean anything if they're
Yes.
not the right ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this. I think it's going to be super helpful for other women to hear. So I'm going to end our recording.